Okay, so as planned, so we'll be starting our today's class now. This is about working capital management, is it not? So several chapters
Yes, sir.
we've studied so far, and we have studied chapter like capital budgeting. In that chapter, we know how to take decision, how to take investment decision impact, how much investments is will that means for a particular project, the investment that we are making, is it worth investing or not? In that chapter, we have learned. But at that time also we have discussed and we know that by acquiring assets only you cannot run the business. You also need working capital to run the business. So do you have any idea about what is working capital? Broad idea. What you know, can you say what you understand by working capital?
The capital which is required for day-to-day activities to run
Okay.
the
So
business.
this is the capital which we need to run the day-to-day activities of the business. So in addition to that capital, that is that which you have studied in your capital budgeting chapters, which you can call it as a kind of fixed capital. Those kind of capital, those kind of money is required to acquire non-current assets or fixed assets of the organization. But apart from that, to meet the day-to-day expenditure, you need some additional capital, which is called as working capital. So today's topic is about that working capital management. We need to understand what is that working capital. Some of you might be already knowing that some formula how to calculate working capital. We'll be discussing all these things. First, some theoretical aspects we're going to discuss. So I am right now. I am going for screen sharing. Wait a minute. So the appropriate screen will be shared with you. Just let me know if it is visible. Are you able to see the screen?
Sir.
Yeah, both of all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So working capital management we are going to study first. Uh, we need to understand, as you told, it is the capital which is required to run the day-to-day activities and day-to-day operations of the business. Okay. Technically, we understand it as the excess of current asset over current liability. There are various ways of understanding working capital. Various kinds of definitions are there. Okay, the definition which is practical, that is what we are going to learn. And we can classify this working capital, or we can understand the working capital, or we can say uh, group these working capital concepts. We can divide the working capital first of all on the basis of value, on also on the basis of time. Broadly, we can divide it. There are various types of working capital we'll be learning subsequently. First, I'm classifying the working capital on the basis of values and also on the basis of time. On the basis of value, when classifying, I'm calling it one kind of working capital. I'm calling it as the gross working capital. And what is the other kind of working capital?
It is net working capital.
Net working capital. Similarly, on time basis, when I'm classifying, I'm dividing into two parts. What are they?
Uh, Permanent working capital, temporary working
And
capital.
temporary working capital. Permanent working capital and temporary. There are other kinds of working capitals are also there, but broadly this is how we understand the working capital. Something is called as gross working capital. There is something called as net working capital. Okay, on the basis of time, we can classify them as permanent working capital and temporary working capital. Coming to gross working capital, broadly it is understood as the current assets, and the net working capital it is understood as excess of current asset over current liability. That is current
Current.
asset minus current liabilities. This formula some of you might be knowing, right? Now, this is how you see roughly
Yes, sir.
before entering into the chapter, we'll be understanding how to calculate the net working capital. So, normally these are the elements of current asset like cash, accounts receivable, that debtors, inventory, that is stock, let us say this much, and current liabilities like accounts payable, that means creditors, then short-term borrowings, accrued liabilities like expenditures payable, etc. Okay, this is my total current liabilities. So current assets minus current liabilities, I will be getting working capital. This is how it will be computed. Current asset minus current liability, it will be working capital. Okay, got some basic idea.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, This is now at this time we need to understand technically what is the meaning of current asset, right? So different definitions are there, but we stick to a kind of technical definition. What is current asset is has been explained in Schedule 3 to Companies Act 2013. So all of you must be studying Companies Act 2013, and you know there are several schedules annexed to that act. You can download the Companies Act and go through this Schedule 3. Schedule 3 in fact talks about the formats of the financial statement, right? And there are some explanations below these formats, and in that explanations it can define what is current asset, right? And if you go through, if you try to learn that, learn what is defined there or what is explained there, you can understand working capital is like this. Let me read these explanations. Yeah, an asset can be classified as current asset. Current asset has been explained there, right? Where Schedule 3 to Companies Act.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, the current liabilities are also explained there.
Yes, sir.
So there, that is the place from where we'll be picking up our definitions. Okay, our understanding of current assets and current liabilities. So it says assets can be classified as current when it satisfies any of the following criteria. If any of these four criteria are met, we'll be calling that asset as the current asset. First one, it's expected to be realized in or is intended for sale or consumption in the company's normal operating cycle. That means the assets we're talking about that can be realized, or it can be intended for sale, or it can be consumed by the company in the normal operating cycle. So we need to understand what is operating cycle, and here it talks about the operating cycle period. Suppose operating cycle period is 6 months, so these assets are intended to be realized. That means it will be sold, it will be disposed of, or it will be consumed within that 6 months. Okay, if those kind of assets, we'll be calling it as the current assets.
Normal
Okay,
current
those
asset.
kind of assets we'll be calling it the current asset. Okay, or it is held, any one of these conditions should be met, or it is held primarily for the purpose of being traded. That means it is for the purpose of trading you are keeping it. It is something like your stock in trade or closing stock, then also it is working. Or it is expected to be realized within 12 months of the reporting date. Reporting date means the date in which, we'll understand it like this, it's the date in which the financial statements are prepared, presented, are prepared, and within 12 months from that date, if these assets are expected to be realized, they are also current assets. Or it is cash or cash equivalent, cash or bank balance or some kind of fixed deposits which can be readily convertible into cash. All these things are cash equivalent. If it is a cash equivalent, unless it is restricted from being exchanged or used to settle a liability for at for at for at least 12 months after the reporting, unless there is a kind of restriction on this cash and cash equivalent, then it will be called as the current asset. If there is some restriction that it
Yes,
cannot be used at least for 12 months, within for 12 months, this kind of cash or this kind of cash equivalents cannot be used for discharge of a kind of liability, then that is not a current asset. Otherwise, it's a current asset. Okay, this is the exact technical definition of the current asset. Are you clear on this?
yes, sir.
Okay, understood the source? This is the source. Okay. Similarly, at one more place also, we can find the definition of current asset. Acha, before understanding that thing, one more place, at this stage we need to understand what is operating cycle, because the first point it says it is expected to be realized or intended for sale or consumption in the company's
Within an
normal
account.
operating cycle. What is operating cycle? Operating cycle also has been defined in the same schedule, Schedule 3. Schedule 3's explanation also explains what is the meaning of operating cycle. Operating cycle is the time between the acquisition of the asset for processing and their realization in cash or cash equivalents. That's the time required when you acquire the asset, when you purchase the asset. Okay, from that time, and when you sell it and realize cash, the time period involved is called as operating cycle. It's a normal operating, where the normal operating cycle cannot be identified. It is assumed to be 12 months. Okay. If it can be identified,
Yes,
it
sir.
can be more than 12 months also, it can be less than 12 months also. When it cannot be identified, then it will be taken as 12 months. This particular picture you can see, this is the picture of an operating cycle. Let us someone purchases something. Someone is having cash. Cash is a current asset. Then he purchases, he converted into raw material. Raw material is entered into production process and some work in progress is generated. Okay. And the work in progress is again converted into finished goods through production process. And finished goods are sold and it is converted into debtors. Then debtors, from debtors we realize cash and again cash is coming. So we started with cash and finally we are reaching with cash. So this cash to cash cycle is also referred to as operating cycle. Okay. And within that operating cycle, if some asset is intended to be disposed or intended to be sold, then that asset will be called as current asset. Have you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. To explain this further, I am giving you one more example right now. Okay. Try to understand this example. Suppose let us take an example of a, let us say something like a roadside restaurant, a dhaba kind of thing. Example, let us say. Okay. Normally, what happens there in a roadside restaurant, roadside dhaba? What happens there? So normally they cook and sell lunch as well as dinner. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Is it not? And every day morning, if you go to that place, you can find they will be acquiring various material like rice, flour, vegetables, non-veg items. Every the morning they come with cash and purchase all these things. They convert it into food, right? So they do some kind of processing, and that in that process they make some work in progress, and finally that is converted into finished goods, and finished goods are sold to the
Yes, sir.
consumers. Okay, customers come. Maybe customers start coming around 12 o'clock. Okay, they consume the food, then bill is raised and customer settles the bill. And maybe by 4 o'clock, all the items are sold, including some closing stock. And finally, entire cash is again converted into cash. Maybe by 4 o'clock. That means you can say operation will be started morning at 7 o'clock and it is again converted back to cash at about 4 o'clock. So you can see this is the hours, let
Yes,
us say
sir.
maybe around 8 hours is the operating cycle. Okay. Again, one more cycle will be started for dinner. Again, they will be consuming something, converting into finished goods, converting into fast work in progress, then finished goods. Then finally it will be sold to the customers. And then cash will be realized. Then one more cycle will be there. So in a day, how many operating cycles are there in that kind of business?
True.
Two operating cycles. So this is a kind of business you
Yes,
see
sir.
operating cycles are two. Okay. So in that cycle, let us say first 6 hours or 8 hour cycle, there will be many things which are intended to be sold. Let us say the curry he has prepared is intended to be sold within that operating cycle. So that is his current asset.
Yes, sir.
Is it not? The rice he has prepared is intended to be sold within that operating cycle. That is his current asset. Okay. But let us say the furniture he has kept there. That is not intended to be sold. That is not intended to be consumed within that operating cycle. That is intended to
Yes, sir.
continue beyond that operating cycle. So that is his non-current asset.
Yes,
Understood?
sir.
Okay. Now in
Yes, sir.
this way we can distinguish what is a current asset and what is a non-current asset. Now if you look at the composition of all these assets, anytime we look at this DAWA, there will be some cash in the cash box, some amount of cash will be there. Is it not? There will be some
Yes, sir.
raw material. There will be some semi-finished goods, half cooked
Yes, sir.
dishes
Yes.
might be there, half cooked items will be there. There will be some finished goods. Is it not? Okay, there will be some customers to whom food has been served but bill has not been raised, or bill has been raised, they have not made payment. So that is the debtors. Okay, so anytime you can find there will be cash, there will be raw material, there will be semi-finished goods, there will be finished goods, there will be debtors. All these things are the components of his working capital because all of them are assets. Cash is an asset, WIP or work in progress is an asset, debtors are an asset, stock is an asset, gas is an asset. All of them are working capital. right? Apart from all of them are current assets. Apart from that, whatever is left out, that is non-current asset. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I will go back for this file sharing. Now you have understood what is current asset. Now, what is operating cycle? We have understood both the definitions we have taken from the Schedule 3 to Companies Act 2013. There is one more place where it has been defined what is current asset. That is Ind AS 1. Ind AS also 1 also defines what is current asset. But if you see, these are also more or less similar kind of definitions. Okay. You can, when you are watching the video later on, you can pause this particular slide and read it. You can find out what is the difference. More or less, they are same. Okay. So later on, we can see it. Later on, you can see it. Now coming to the components of the current asset, I know the inventory, that is the stock, receivables, that is the data, cash and cash equivalent, prepaid expenditures. These are the components of current assets. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now coming to current liabilities, again we'll pick up the definition from Schedule 3 to Companies Act 2013, and it says it is a current liability is a current liability if it satisfies any one of the following criteria. Number one, it is expected to be settled in the company's normal operating cycle. You have understood now what is normal operating cycle. If this liability is
Yes, sir.
expected to be settled within that operating cycle, maybe it is 4 hours, maybe it is 4 months, maybe it is 1 year, maybe it is beyond that. If it is expected to be settled within that operating cycle, it is a current liability. Or it is primarily for the purpose of trading, meaning it is a kind of trade liability, sundry creditor kind of thing. Or it is due to be settled within 12 months after the reporting date. Then also it is current liability. Or the company doesn't have an unconditional right to defer settlement of the liability for at least 12 months. Company doesn't have any right to defer the settlement of the liability. That means company has to settle the liability within 12 months. Then also it is a current liability. Okay.
Current
There,
liability.
there might be one more point is that the term liability, the term of the liability that could, at the option of the counterparty, result in settlement by issue of an equity instrument doesn't affect its classification. In some liability, there might be condition, there might be a clause that it can be settled through issue of equity. That means later on it can be converted into equity. But this particular term will not change the basic character of the liability. Okay. So we'll ignore that term. Ignoring that term, we have to applying these four logics, these four conditions. We have to decide whether it is a current liability or it's a non-current liability. Okay. All liabilities except these kind of liabilities are called as non-current liabilities. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For practically understanding the working capital, it is very extremely important for us to be clear on what is current asset and what is current liability. Therefore, we'll take this definition. Again, at one more place, similar kind of definition is there. That is in AS 1 in para 69. There is a definition about current liability. You can read it later on. You can understand what is the difference. You can try to find out if there is any difference between the current liability explained in Schedule 3 to Company Act 2009, 2013 and the current liability defined as per Ind AS para 69. Later on you can see, but we have fairly understood now what is current asset and what is current liabilities. And the components of the current liabilities, if you see, it may be trade payable, short-term
Trade
borrowing,
payable.
outstanding expenses,
Yes, sir.
etc. There might be other items also. These are illustrative in nature. These are current liabilities. Understood what is current asset and what is current liabilities?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now coming to the meaning of working capital, you had already explained. It is the capital which is required normally for running the day-to-day operation. For a smooth business operation, we need this kind of capital. Okay, ranging from procurement of the raw material, converting the same into finished goods for sale, and realizing cash along with the profit from the data. For all these kind of activities, that is procuring raw material, converting them into work in progress, and further converting into finished goods, and from realizing in the data, the kind of capital we need for all these activities are referred to as working capital. Now coming to various types of working capital now, having understood. So One kind of working capital is called as initial working capital. As the name suggests, you must have understood by now. So at the it is the kind of working capital which is required at the time of commencement of the business.
Um,
Okay, it includes some kind of promotional expenditure. When you start the business, incorporation expenditure, etc., are included. Preliminary expenditures are included. This is called as the initial working capital. Working capital which is required at the time of commencement of business. Okay, that is
yes,
one kind of working.
yes, sir.
A regular working capital means which is normally regularly invested in the enterprise. Okay, on the day-to-day activities, we need this kind of working capital that is called as the regular working. Fine, understood. It
Yes, sir.
supplies funds necessary to meet the current working expenditure. To meet
Working
all this kind of
expenses.
current expenditure, whatever capital is required, that is your regular working. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, next part is something is called as the fluctuating working capital. In some businesses, deal with a kind of seasonal activities in a particular season. They need to produce more, or they need to purchase more, or maybe they need to sell more. In this kind of situation, when seasonal activities are there, so the capital requirement, the working capital requirement also varies from season to season. So the requirement of the working capital fluctuates. Okay, this extra portion of the working capital, which is used to raise the volume of production, that part of the working capital will be called as fluctuating working capital. We may call it as the variable working capital also. So one kind of working capital is fixed. On the top of it, there is a kind of working capital which fluctuates. That is called as fluctuating. Generally, it is found in case of seasonal businesses. Right? Okay. Now, one more kind of working capital is there, which is called as the reserve margin working. It is the amount utilized at the time of any contingencies. Okay, some kind of working capital, you can say it can be kept for any kind of contingency requirement. That means, let us say, some kind of depression, storm cell, let's say flood, fire, earthquake, strike, or normal layoff. In these kind of situations, you have to run the business. You need some kind of extra money that is called as the reserve money margin. Even if activities are not there, activities are affected, but still some capital is required to maintain the business. Okay, for this maintenance of the business, the capital we need that is called as reserve margin. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this important concept is about the gross or net working capital, which at the initial stage we discussed. What is gross working capital? It refers to the investment in current asset. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you know what is the current asset? These definitions you have already
Yes, sir.
covered. You may find some other kind of definitions in different kind of textbooks, different kind of study material, but we'll stick to the definitions which we are learned. And what is net working capital? It's the difference between current asset and current liability.
Current asset, current liability.
What is current asset? What is current liabilities? We have already discussed. Current liabilities include like accounts payable, bills payable, outstanding expenditure, etc. Net working capital can be positive and negative, or negative. In which situation it can be negative? Can you say? In which
When
situation?
current liabilities is more
When
than
current liability is
current
more,
asset.
you can say it is a negative working capital. Right? One more kind of classification of working capital is about permanent working capital and temporary working capital. First, we'll understand what is the permanent working. You can see this is the minimum amount of all current assets that is required at all times to ensure minimum level of uninterrupted business success. To run the business at a minimum level without any interruption, the kind of capital we need, that will be called as permanent working. Right? That means with minimum
Yes,
level
sir.
of raw material, minimum level of WIP, minimum level of bank balance, finished goods. Always that level should be maintained. That is called as permanent working. And depending upon the demand, depending upon the productions, ups and downs, so you may be needing some extra working capital. That will be your extra or temporary working capital. Permanent working capital can also be called as the hardcore working capital or core current assets. Okay, it may be a constant sum or may not be constant. It might be growing depending upon the business. In a growing business, normally the permanent working capital also grows. In a declining business, it may also comes down. In a stable business, it may remain stable. Okay. Normally, we finance this permanent working capital through long-term loans. And temporary working capital or the varying working capital. This is the kind of working capital which varies with production fluctuations, with operational fluctuation. It keeps up, goes up and comes down. You can say this is the additional working capital which is required to observe the fluctuations in the operations. It moves ups and down. Okay, and this kind of capital is financed through short-term loans. So through short-term sources, they are financed. Okay,
Yes,
understood
sir.
what is our
Yes, sir.
permanent working capital, what is the temporary working capital.
Yes, sir.
Okay, other texts are also there, so you can also read it through. But I think with this explanation, you have already understood. Okay, I'll be showing you. Okay, you see, suppose to run a business, first we need a kind of fixed assets, or you can say the non-current assets are required. It's a plant and machinery, land and buildings. On the top of it, some kind of working capital is required permanently. We can call this part is called as the fixed element of working capital or permanent working capital. On the top of it, working capital may requirement may go up or comes down because of some fluctuation. So this part is called as your temporary working capital or
Yes, sir.
short-term working capital. Normally, coming to the finance management, this non-current assets as well as the fixed part of the working capital should be financed through long-term finance. For this thing, you should get a kind of long-term borrowing because you know this is permanent. This is also permanent. This is also permanent. This fluctuating
Yes, sir.
part or the variable working capital can be financed through short-term finance. This is how
Short term.
a proper working capital management is possible. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you see, in this case, you see fixed working capital is flat. It's a straight line. But in a growing business, normally it's not a straight line. It may increase. Maybe first year or initial 5 years working capital might be like this. After that, it will increase. Permanent working capital may increase. It may slow an upward trend. And temporary working capital will be on the top of this. Understood?
So, what is the difference between previous one and this graph?
Previous graph you see, the permanent working capital is a straight line. Okay, let us say first
So,
year
this
you need,
such kind of
first year
graph
you
is
need, let us say
in
first,
which?
yeah, now ask your question.
Sir, I'm asking that this type of graph is generally seen in which case? I mean, what type of farm?
If the business is stable, suppose you are, let us say you are
Yes,
producing
sir.
something. Okay, let us say something like this. You are producing milk. You got a milk processing plant. You know the kind of milk you'll be collecting every day. You'll be producing, let us say, 1 lakh liter of. So your business is stable. Every day you'll be collecting 1 lakh liter of the milk and you'll producing 1 lakh liter of milk. Isn't it? So your permanent
Yes,
working
sir.
capital is same. Your business is stable. But in case you intend that okay, this year 1 lakh, next year you want to process more. Next year it might be 1,20,000. Next year it might be 1,40,000. Next year it might be 1,80,000. Like this. If you feel your business is not stable, you are expecting it should grow, then your permanent working capital will also change because you have to buy
Yes, sir.
more raw material. Isn't it? More marketing
Yes, sir.
expenditures will be required. So when the business is stable, then permanent working capital is a fixed requirement. Or if
Yes, sir.
business is not
Yes,
stable, then permanent working capital will also. And if the business is declining, let us say year after year, you feel the business is declining. This permanent working capital requirement may come down also. Maybe it may show a downward trend also. That possibility is also there.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similar kind of classification. There is one more way of explaining this thing is called as long-term working capital. Long-term working capital is also a kind of permanent working. That is working capital required to satisfy the demand at the lowest point, at the minimum point, at the, what is the bottom level working capital you require. That is called as the long-term working capital. That means whatever might be the situation, that kind of working capital is required permanently over a fairly long period of time. That means we are talking about the minimum current asset that is going to be maintained at all times. That is called as long-term working capital. Okay. Short-term working capital directly varies with the level of activity. So it is something like similar to permanent working capital and varying working capital or temporary working capital. Only difference is that when say long term, we take a fairly long period of time, take a very minimum level of work. Okay, you can call short term working capital also as temporary. There is no much of difference there. Okay, this is how.
Both are same.
Yeah, almost same.
Okay.
Now, got some idea about various types of working capital.
Yes, sir.
Now, we'll be entering into this area working capital management. You know, working capital means current assets and current liabilities. Meaning you have to
Yes,
deal
sir.
with short-term assets and short-term liabilities. And as a finance manager in charge of managing working capital, one is expected to ensure sufficiency of cash flow for short-term debts and operating expenses to meet the day-to-day and operational expenditure. There should be enough liquidity, sufficient cash flow should be there. Otherwise, it will create a kind of bottleneck in the business operation. Business operation it may not run smoothly for want of working capital. So sufficiency cash flow needs to be ensured. There are various aspects as regards to working capital management. First of all, if you look into the time aspect, you see working capital related decisions are a kind of regular decision. Okay. Non-current assets you acquire once in a while, but working capital decisions you do it on a regular basis. Almost every day or every month or every year you purchase some raw material. Is it not? You purchase all these kind of current assets. So since it's a regular activity, it takes much of finance manager's time. It's a time consuming activity. We have to keep in the mind it's a regular activity. It's a time consuming activity. And second thing is that the second aspect is that uh, it involves a large investment. And some businesses you see working capital's investment is much more than non-current assets. Like let us say take an example of a jewelry shop. The value of current assets are more than the current assets, value of the non-current assets. Is it not? So large portion of the total investment is, you can say, uh, is required for working capital. Large portion of the total investment belong to working capital. And it is important. Coming to the credibility aspect, it is very important because it has got great significance and critical to small firms. Many cases, many resources show that the failure of the business happens due to poor working capital management. Right, the entrepreneur might have started the business, all kind of non-current asset he has acquired and initiated the process. Production has been started, but because of poor management of the working capital, the business may fail. So it is significant. The credibility of the business is lost because of working capital. And working capital also hits the profit. Consequently, it affects the growth. So when we are planning to manage working capital properly, we have to look into the time aspect, investment aspect, credibility aspect, and the growth aspect. We have to ensure that all these things are managed properly for proper working capital management. Are you clear up to this?
So this investment aspect is same for all farm. Like it is okay for jewelry farm, but in case of any manufacturing
In case of
factory.
invest working capital requires investment, but it may vary in some kind of businesses. Working capitals, the investment in working capital may be more than the investment in non-current assets. In some businesses, it might be reverse. Some businesses we
Yes,
need
sir.
to, let us say you want to establish a plant, you need to acquire a building, etc. So this kind of a plant, factories, etc. are there. So value of the non-current assets will be more. But
Yes, sir.
still you need enough working capital, enough raw material for using it in that plant and machinery. Sufficient stock should be there. Let us take an example of a steel plant. Steel plant, definitely the value of the non-current asset will be substantially more, is it not? But to run that
Yes.
steel plant, you have to keep at least 2 3 months stock of raw material, is it not? Because once the plant started consuming, continuously it will keep on consuming. So you are almost, you require to have a matching amount of money invested in the working capital so that plant can be fed. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now again, coming to the components of the working capital which you have discussed, just have a look. These are the various components of the working capital. Okay, by using these components, we'll be able to compute the working capital. Cash, raw material, WIP, finished goods, debtors, creditors, set of notes, bills payable, all this kind of
So
expenses.
WIP means?
Work in progress. It's a semi-finished goods.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, components of the working capital you
Yes,
have
sir.
understood. And you know characteristics of the working capital coming to this part. These assets, the components has got very short lifespan, generally less than 1 year, and there is a swift transformation from one form to another form. As you can see, the example I was giving you, the roadside restaurant, roadside
Yes, sir.
dhaba. You see, within the span of let us say 8 hours, cash is converted into material, raw material. Raw material is converted into semi-finished goods or WIP. WIP is converted into finished goods. So there is a quick
Yes.
transformation, is it not? The
Yes, sir.
different components keeps on changing, and the decision regarding working capital is a repetitive one. It's a routine exercise. And while taking decision also, here we have to take into consideration the risk aspect as well as return aspect. We have to draw a balance between the risk involved and the return. Risk involved means if there will not be sufficient working capital, it will affect the smooth running of the plant. Okay. And return aspect means if we keep more working capital, it will block my funds. Blocking my funds means it will involve a kind of cost. It will affect my profitability. Okay. So this is how return and risk both are related to the working capital management. So we need to draw a balance between them. We need to draw a kind of trade-off between the risk and return involved in the working capital. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Just have a look at this chart which you can refer to as cash to cash cycle or operating cycle or working capital cycle. Again, we'll be seeing this kind of cycle subsequently. Right. I'm starting from the, let us say from the bottom we'll start. It will go anti-clockwise. What is written here? Cash. Cash is converted into raw material. Raw material is converted into WIP. WIP is converted in finished goods. Finished goods is sold, converted to debtors, and debtors gave us money. Right. So at any point of time, I need some money to be invested in cash, some money to be invested in the raw material, some money to be invested in the work in progress, some money needs to be invested in finished goods, and some amount of capital also needs to be invested in debtors. Okay. If I want to run my business smoothly, so every in all these points, some money needs to be invested. That is my basic working capital requirement. Okay, right.
Yes, sir.
And in addition to that, you see, for converting raw material into work in progress, I have to spend some money for wages. And for converting finished goods to debtor, I have to incur some selling and distribution expenses and acquisition expenses. So this cash I'm keeping to meet all these expenses. Okay. So keeping all these things in mind, I have to
Yes,
decide
sir.
what is the working capital requirement. Understood?
So
Which one?
which full form?
Image.
OH. And what? OH.
Okay, wages and works overhead. You are talking about this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
you see, from raw material to be converted into finished goods, converted WIP, you have to spend some wages expenditure. So you need cash for that.
Yes, sir.
So when you're taking working
Yes, sir.
capital decision, you have to keep in mind how much cash is required, how much money is to be invested, all this. Understood? Right.
Yes, sir.
Now, one more thing I'm adding. Now, thing is that let us say you need 5 lakh rupees for raw material, but the part of this raw material can be acquired in credit. It's not that you need entire cash. You need to have cash of 5 lakh rupees to buy raw material. If you can buy something in credit, that adjustment also has to be made. So raw material you need 5 lakh rupees, but out of this credit purchase is let us say 2 lakh rupees. So actually you are needing 3 lakh rupees for your raw material.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the 2 lakh rupees can be your current liability that can be also adjusted. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. So therefore current liabilities are deducted. First we decide that how much money we need to run the operation like this. To keep this much of cash, this much of raw material, this much of work in progress, this much of finished good, this much of debtors, how much money we need, how much bonds are required. Then if something is available, something we can do by creating current liabilities. Let us say raw material can be acquired in credit. So it will create current liability. Or wages can be paid
Yes,
after some time. I can use the workers first, then I will be paying them the wages. So I can create a current liability. So all these things will be deducted. Therefore, when you talk about the working capital, we call it as the current assets minus current liabilities. Because current liability, when you are
yes,
deducting, we are netting it off. We are trying to compute what is the net amount required to run the business. Okay,
yes, sir.
understood. Why working capital is important? Now we have discussed so many points. Okay, decisions are repetitive, it is frequent. Okay, it constitutes a significant part of the total asset. And again, one more important thing is that one form of working capital is linked to the other form of working capital. Right? Creation of a particular current asset may automatically lead to creation of a current liabilities. Hence, working capital management is in a sense linked. We need to understand that concept, how the working capital concept is linked. Okay. Now you see,
Yes,
I am telling you, let us say cash is converted in raw material, that raw material is still converted into what?
finished. Work in progress.
Work in progress, then which is to be converted into finished goods, which is to be
Finished.
converted
Yes,
into debt.
okay.
Now you
Yes, sir.
think what is the problem if I keep less cash? Suppose cash ka requirement jitni. Suppose I need cash of 5 lakh rupees, but I am keeping 4 lakh rupees. What will be the problem?
Less will be the material.
Yeah, it will be affecting my smooth running business. Business might be affected.
Yes, sir.
But if I keep more
Yes, sir.
cash, suppose 5 lakh is requirement, I am keeping 10 lakh. What is the problem?
That extra
Problem is that I am losing money. That extra money could have been
block.
invested elsewhere. I could have earned some return. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Is it not? So, excess money is a problem and less money is also a problem. Similarly, excess raw material is also a problem and less raw material is also a problem. Less material it will affect my production. Excess raw material it involves a cost, carrying cost.
Okay.
Okay, and this thing, cost, possibility of loss, deterioration, and also block of money. Same thing is also
Storage.
with yeah,
Yes, sir.
storage cost. Same thing is also with WIP. Same thing is also with finished goods. Same thing is also with data.
Yes, sir.
More is a problem, less is also a problem. Now, but this management is linked. Management of all these components are linked. I am giving an example. Suppose cash requirement is 5 lakh, but let us say you are the cash
Yes,
manager.
sir.
Okay, you are the cash manager. Cash requirement is 5 lakh rupees. What I am saying, but I'm finding that you are keeping 10 lakh rupees. So is it a good management or poor management?
It is a poor management.
It is
It's not good.
not good. It's not. Okay. So let us say you want to avoid that thing, you can do one thing. You can say, okay, I'm having excess cash. So let me purchase raw material. So you'll purchase extra raw material. But your
Yes,
cash
sir.
you are managing is 5 lakh rupees, but you acquired raw material. Now it becomes a problem for raw material management. He will find, okay, so much of raw material has been purchased. Then he will be answerable why so much of raw material is lying, why it is not converted into WIP. Because excess raw material is his headache now. That shows his poor management.
Yes, sir.
But since you have created a problem, you solved your problem, but it created a problem for raw material management. Is it not? To avoid that thing,
Yes,
what
sir.
he'll do, immediately he'll start producing, he'll consume more, he'll convert it into WIP. Now there will be more WIP here. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Now this creates a problem for the factory manager. Factory manager will be answerable that what is this? Why so much of WIP? Why they are not converted into finished cost? Because here capital is blocked. I am losing interest. I am losing my return. So to avoid that thing, factory manager will immediately convert them into finished goods. Okay. Now his problem is solved. It
Yes,
created a problem for finished goods manager, stores manager. Is it not? That this manager will be answerable. Why so much of finished goods? Why not sell? So he'll immediately make credit sale. He'll make sales and create debtors. Is it not? So his problem is solved. Now problem arises comes here. Now
yes,
the
sir.
debtor manager has got a problem. Why so much of debtor? Why money is not recovered? Now he has to collect cash. Again, cash will be coming. Here will be more cash. Again, cash will create a problem. Now you have seen everything is linked. If you try to manage one particular component, other components are definitely going to be affected. Are you getting?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is why it is said that the working capital management is very linked. And if a particular part is weak, let us say one particular portion, let us say cash management is weak. That means entire working capital management is weak. And the cash management is strong, that means entire working capital management is strong. Because everything is linked. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
And if one portion is adversely affected, everything will be affected. That is why it is said or it is compared that it is compared with a chain. Working capital works in a chain, and it is said that the chain is as strong as its weakest link. You can say working capital management is a good management, provided not a single link is weak. If a particular link is weak, as you are seeing in this picture, then entire working capital management is weak. If all the elements are strong, all the components management are strong, then only you can say working capital management is strong. You know, you can say everything is good, but data management is poor. That means entire working capital management is poor. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So therefore, it is called as a link. If you try to monitor one thing, just now I was showing you. If you try to monitor cash, you see it has effect of monitoring everything. Okay, if one element will be mismanaged, entire working capital management will be failed. Consequently, entire business will be failed.
Yes.
Okay, that is how some people or sometimes it is compared with this particular saying or in this particular small rhyme. You might have heard this story or heard this rhyme that for want of a nail, a kingdom is lost. Have you heard of this story? Have you heard of?
No, sir.
So just a small story you see, you can read it from here. It says the once what happened, there was a war was going on and one soldier was supposed to go and before he left, he was not having enough time. So he forgot to put a nail in the shoe of the horse. In the horse's shoe, one nail was supposed to be put, but that soldier didn't. And because of that, that shoe was lost. That means, you see, this is the kind of horse's shoe which was lost. It got removed from the horse's leg. Okay. For the want of the nail, the shoe
Yes,
was
sir.
lost. And because of that shoe, the horse was lost. Because of that, the horse fell down, the horse, consequently, horse died. And for the want of the horse, the rider was lost. That shoulder is lost. For the want of the rider, the battle was lost. And for the want of the battle, the kingdom was lost. Okay. So now you see, for a small component, because of this small nail, the entire kingdom is lost. That's the story. So exactly same thing happens in the working capital. If the small component is mismanaged, it will affect the entire business. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Next part is that how to do a trade-off between this working capital management. I told you that working capital affects both the things. One is returns and the risk. It affects return. It affects profit after tax, and the risk. Risk means it affects the possibility of bankruptcy, possibility of getting insolvent. If the current liability is more than current asset, then there's a possibility of being bankrupt. That's the risk. If less working capital, we may face this kind of situation. If we keep more working capital, then my return is going to be affected. Therefore, I have to draw a trade-off between these two. Okay. Here I am showing you a chart. In this chart, this you see this axis I am showing you current assets. Current assets means in fact that is the working capital. And this shows if I keep more and more working capital, more and more working capital, my return will be less. Okay, because money will be blocked, my return will be less. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
When return is less, I am calling it as the cost of liquidity. I am keeping the money in liquid form. Current assets are in liquid form. Anytime I can dispose it of. So that is the cost of keeping money in liquid form. That is called as the cost cost of liquidity or cost of less. And on the other hand, if I keep less current assets, let us say current asset I will keep here less. Okay, less current asset. What will happen if I try to reduce the current asset? There will my risk will increase. Okay, I may not be able to run the business. My risk will increase because money is not kept in liquid form. Money is kept in illiquid form. Because more money is invested in non-current asset. That's because non-current asset gives more return. Current asset is blocked. Current asset doesn't generate much return. For example, cash. If the cash is kept in idle form, it doesn't give you any return. But if the cash is converted into some fixed deposit, cash is converted into non-current asset, then it gives you return. So you have to keep in the mind that current assets gives less return, non-current asset gives more return. And if we keep more current assets, so it will be giving me less return. I will call it as the cost of illiquidity. That means you see more current assets, cost of liquidity, less current asset, cost of illiquidity. So what is the ideal size of working capital? What is the, you can say, optimum working capital? Optimum working capital means I have to keep both the cost into consideration. I have to find out what is the total cost of illiquidity, cost of liquidity taken together. And where total cost is the minimum, here it is minimum. You can say this is the size of optimum level of working capital. Understood this concept?
Yes, sir.
Optimum level of current asset or optimum level of working capital. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then we'll do one thing, friends. We'll stop here today. And other some more theoretical aspects are still there, like importance of adequate working capital, optimum working capital, determinants of working capital. So all these things we'll plan to catch up in our next class. Okay. So we'll be stopping here. If you got any query, then please ask me that thing. Maybe in
Sir,
1 or 2 days.
what is note receivable?
What is?
Note receivable.
Sorry, your voice is not clear. Please repeat the question once again.
So, I'm asking that what is note receivable? NOTE, note.
Note receivable means a kind of promissory note receivable.
Is it same with the normal receivable?
Uh, in which context you are asking, you have to see. Are you talking about the definition part? Definition which is given in Ind AS, from there you are taking it. Where from you heard this word? Note receivable.
So in this working capital chapter, there is a line that short-term asset of the firm means cash money, short-term securities,
No,
inventory,
in
bill
that case,
receivable,
if there
note
is it in
receivable,
note receivable as short-term asset, it is a promissory note receivable, or you can say it is a kind of bills receivable.
bill receivable.
Okay, note receivable means bills receivable.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. So we'll stop here. Very quickly, maybe 1 or 2 days again, we'll catch up with your one more class. Right, some more theoretical aspects are still there. We'll be doing some questions also, some problems. So I'm closing our show today now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. See you in the next class.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.